Hi, I'm Kirsten Koreanic. I'll be talking about Plato's Meno today, specifically the dialogue that takes place between Meno and Socrates about the discussion of virtue. So, in Plato's Meno, the discussion does seem to revolve around virtue, especially in the conversation between Socrates and Meno. Socrates puts forth the question, what is virtue? Does it stem from knowledge? Can it be taught? Can it be learned? Is it good? Is it natural? Meno believes that he knows what virtue is and begins listing what he believes is like the definition of virtue, which is like the virtue of a man, the virtue of a woman, virtue of a child, etc. But Socrates points out, and we know this as well, that this is not defining virtue, but merely giving examples of virtue. So Meno accepts that he was ignorant before, and he admits that he doesn't know what he does not know, which goes back to Plato's apology from last week of how being wise means accepting that you do not know what you do not know. So Socrates and Meno, they arrive at an agreement of sorts that virtue coming from the soul, being good, must be a kind of mindfulness because mindfulness produces benefits, thoughtfulness causes harm. Essentially, all things can be bad if they are not mindful, and harmfulness comes from misuse. So the point is also brought about that virtue, or good, cannot be natural, because if it was natural, then cities would lock up the virtuous youth to protect them from all things bad, and when they are old enough, they would help their cities. But this is not the case because goodness is not innate, so people aren't just born good, it's something that is learned or recollected over time. The theory of recollection, also known as anamnesis, is the concept that everything is already known from previous existence or past life, and knowledge is already there. It just must be recollected upon asking the right questions, for example. This is why it is important to define virtue and understand if it falls under the category of knowledge. So, is it already known? Is it something that can be learned, taught, etc.? Furthermore, it is wondered if knowledge can be learned, even if it is not innate. For you cannot seek out knowledge that is already known, because there is nothing to seek. But one can also not seek out knowledge that is not known because they would not know what the knowledge would be should they find it. So the point is brought about that learning is impossible and that knowledge is impossible. However, this argument overall seems irrelevant to the discussion of virtue, as it feels as if Socrates, and Meno already came to the agreement that virtue is mindfulness and involves maintaining an awareness of oneself and those around. So where virtue comes from and what virtue is seems to remain undetermined after this discussion.